Yeah.
Alright, so tonight's bedtime story, we just figured out, is
Such a mouth bad.
The Ant and the Grasshopper. Illustrated by Louisa. Okay, so this is a little awkward because Daddy wanted to sit on my lap. So we're going to try and do it this way. Page 218. Are you going to turn the pages for me?
This.
Okay. Let's start on page 218. And let's see what we can do here.
You can see on the camera, right?
Yeah.
So it could be like this?
Yeah. Let me see if we do that. No, that's not going to work. Okay. So, don't turn the page up. The Ant and the Grasshopper. Grasshopper loved the summer. He would spend all day perched on the blades of grass, basking under the sun. Just occasionally, Grasshopper would hop from one blade to another, but most of the time he was happy to do absolutely nothing. Grasshopper idly rubbed his legs together, making a happy chirping sound. Long summer days, lazing in the lush green grass, he thought to himself with a smile. Oh, can there be anything better? Grasshopper was just about to doze off when there was an annoying heaving and panting sound right beneath him. Alright, you're making me lose my spot. It was an ant pushing a piece of corn across the ground. No wonder he was panting, because the corn was twice as big as he was, and the nearest cornfield was a good distance away. What a silly thing to do on a hot sunny day like this, Grasshopper laughed. Look at you, all worn out. It has to be done, said Ant, wiping his brow. I have to take this corn to my nest. No, you don't, said Grasshopper. You could just eat it here rather than drag it all the way. Come on, we'll have a picnic. Ant wiped his brow again. He would have loved to stop for a picnic, but there was too much work to be done. You don't understand, he told Grasshopper. This corn isn't to eat now, it's to store. In my nest, he exclaimed. Grasshopper laughed so much that he nearly fell off his blade of grass. But that means you'll be going backward and forward, heaving loads from dawn to dusk, he mocked. All in this heat. I know, said Ant, but it's so I have plenty of food for the winter. Nothing grows then. It's not like it is now, when there's food wherever you look. All right, can you turn the page? Make sure you don't skip any. Okay. Grasshopper lazily glanced all around him. It was true. There was food wherever you looked. Lush grasses, golden fields of corn, delicious little fruits and berries, and it was also true that by winter it would all have disappeared. But that did not mean he was going to scurry frantically about like Ant, puffing and panting on a hot sunny day. Winter's ages away, said Grasshopper. Enjoy the lovely summer with me. Crawl up here and let's have that picnic. However, Ant was already crawling away, lifting the ear of corn again, heaving it across the ground. Crazy, Grasshopper called after him. We ants like to think ahead, Ant panted in reply, not for a moment pausing in his heavy task. Summer won't last forever. Grasshopper jeeringly shook his head, reclining on his... Honey, they're not going to be able to hear the story if you keep making that noise. Now we dropped the phone. You're killing me, girl. They're not going to be able to hear the story. Alright, now where were we? Grasshopper jeeringly shook his head, reclining on his lush blade of grass. As he looked up at the perfect blue sky, he wondered how anyone could possibly think about winter on a day like this.
Is that part? Is this?
Alright, where were we? It seemed to Grasshopper that summer would surely go on forever. The summer had lasted for weeks and weeks, months and months, but it did not go on forever. Eventually, the long, cloudless days became a little shorter. The sun was not quite so hot now, and the flowers were starting to fade. Autumn had arrived.
This one?
Can you turn the page? Yep, that's autumn. Don't skip any. There we go. I had better stock up with food, Grasshopper said to himself, climbing down from his blade of grass. With a shiver, he was sure there would be a little bit left before the frost and snow arrived. "Where can I find some food?" he asked the little mouse who was peeping out from the leaves. "There's nothing growing," Mouse replied. "You're too late. Even the fruit that fell from the trees had all been carried away by other animals." Grasshopper was distraught. He felt so very hungry. "How am I going to manage?" he asked the mouse sadly. He knew that when winter came he would be starving. Then he suddenly had an idea. He would visit Ant. With all that corn that he had been storing right up through summer, Ant would surely have a little to spare and give his hungry friend. By the time the winter set in, the hunger and the biting cold made Grasshopper weaker and weaker. It took him a long time to reach Ant's nest. "Ant, are you there?" he called frantically. "It's your friend, Grasshopper. I've got no food. Could you spare me a little of yours?" Ant took a good while to emerge from his nest. In fact, Grasshopper wondered whether he would even appear at all. He remembered how unkind he had been to Ant in the summer. Finally, though, Ant did emerge, and he was carrying lots of food. Grasshopper gobbled it all up gratefully. "I'm sorry I laughed at you for collecting all that corn," he said. "Next summer, I'll follow your example and think ahead." Ant smiled, pleased that Grasshopper had learned his lesson. The end.
I thought there was another part
No, that's a new story. That's the Frog Prince. So what happened in our story that we just read?
Who knows?
Who knows? What do you mean? We just read it. But you were not paying attention, were you?
I was playing on my phone.
Playing on your phone?
This. Like this.
You can't pay attention to the story if you're playing on your phone, can you? That's where the problem comes in.
100%. It's 100.
It's a little bit blurry, but they get the gist.
I'll put it closer. See it now? If you see like a little bit of 1 and 0, I mean that's 100.
All right.
I could play on this all day because it'll stay like that.
I'm sure you
It has
can.
little buttons.
But the story's over. It's time for bed.
Right, click my button, turn it off.
I love you. Good night.
Wait, where's my credit?